live. You see they're dry. You see there's no marrow in the bone. You see they're scattered all over the valley. They ain't even full skeletons. I mean, the bones are scattered all over the valley. They're just bones. But answer me a question, Ezekiel. Can these bones live? Ezekiel answers the only way he knows how to answer. Lord, you know. Critical race theory was born out of critical legal theory. Am I teaching y'all something today? There emerged two common beliefs linking all critical race theories. First, white supremacy has subordinated black people and other people of color. That's just a fact. How in the world are you going to fight against that being taught in any school? White supremacy has subordinated black people and other people of color. That's a fact. Why don't you want that to be taught in school? You let your schools teach us that Columbus discovered America. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that George Washington couldn't tell a lie. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that some slave owners were beneficent and good slave owners. There were no good slave owners. Anybody who owned people was evil. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that Abraham Lincoln was good for Negroes. No, Abraham Lincoln was trying to save the Union. And Abe Lincoln himself said if he could save the Union and keep black people in chains, he would do it. That's a lie. Come on, somebody. You let them teach us about a white Jesus. You let them teach us that Native Americans were the aggressors. Come on, somebody. That white folk had a manifest destiny and that the pilgrims were good to Native Americans. That's a lie. All day, every day, you let them teach us lies. All throughout my history in school, I was taught lies. But you got a problem with critical race theory because it teaches the truth that white supremacy has subordinated black people and people of color. The right to bear arms. Let me just back up a little bit and let me take you on back to the late 1960s when Ronald Reagan was the governor of California. And they were oppressing black folk, and a group of men and women known as the Black Panther Party decided that they were going to defend the rights of black folk. And the Black Panthers decided that the Second Amendment wasn't just for white folk. So they strapped themselves with guns and showed up at the Capitol in California. And when they saw them Negroes with guns, come on, somebody. That's why I say if you ever really want to get gun laws changed, just strap all these Negroes up. They'll change them laws before the week is over. When the Black Panthers, watch this, I want you to read, the California legislator passed what was called the Mulford Act. It was a gun control act that decided who could get guns, who couldn't get guns, what could be in your background, what couldn't be in your background. It was the first time in history that the National Rifle Association, the NRA, supported restrictive gun legislation, all because black folk had the nerve to get strapped. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, go get strapped. Amen, somebody. Y'all gonna say Bishop told us to get strapped. I said it. Go get strapped. It just got real quiet up in here. But y'all already know I'm a triple P. Amen. Y'all know what a triple P is, right? A pistol packing preacher. Amen, somebody. What's happening, fam? It's another Monday. The calm before the storm. At least if you're here in Massachusetts. Good morning, everybody. Do me a favor, rep your city, rep your town. Let me know where you're coming in from. Oh, let me get the gram on. I'm neglecting my grammars. Good morning to the gram. All right, we got the gram live. We got YouTube live. We got Facebook live. Let's get it now. Let's get it. All right. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. 90.7 WTCC. Good morning and welcome to the Spoken Word. I'm your host, Bishop Talbert Swan II. And as usual, we'll be telling it like it is through cultural idioms and nuances that shape the order, ethos, and chaos of the African American experience. Words have their own vitality, they shape their own consciousness and create their own context for interpreting social and spiritual reality. The spoken word contains the power to reshape the landscape of society. It is 4 minutes past the hour of 9 a.m. I want to thank Mr. Kenneth Barnett for bringing us up into the 9 o'clock hour with The Promise. You can hear The Promise every Monday morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., bringing you the best in gospel music. Good way to start out your Monday morning. Great way to start out your week. Listen, good morning to every one of y'all that are tuned in from far and near. Those of you that are in our social media space, those of you who are part of our 4,000 watts, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, wherever you're listening from throughout the Pioneer Valley. Good morning to each and every one of you. We're bracing for a winter storm. They're predicting big time snow, and of course, that big time snow is having an effect on some of the things that we had planned for this coming week. Most notably for us, our Lift Every Voice lecture series. Um, so what we've done is we've been proactive because of the storm. The first lecture that was going to be on tomorrow with Domingo Guyton has been rescheduled for the 27th. Um, so mark your calendars. We'll get information out among you. That's the thing about New England. You just don't know what the weather is going to be like in a month like February. So we adjust accordingly. So our Lift Every Voice lecture series schedule has shifted somewhat.
We will still be having our Lifting Silence Voices event with Linda Sarsour on Thursday, this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. at the Spring of Hope Church, 35 Alden Street. You don't want to miss that. We'll have Dr. Amilcar Shabazz moderating a conversation with Sister Linda Sarsour, talking about all things Palestine and the conflict in Israel. So you want to be a part of that. We've got Jews for Peace, who will be a part of that particular event. And so we're inviting each and every one of you to come out on Thursday. But then kicking off Lift Every Voice lecture series on the 19th is Dr. Tama Bryant. She'll be in the city, professor at Pepperdine University, former president of the American Psychological Association, member of Delta Sigma Theta, preacher, theologian. She will be with us on the 19th. Then on the 22nd, author Candace Benbow will be our special guest. And then on the 27th, Domingo Guyton will be talking about the influence of hip hop. And then on the 29th, Reverend Mike McBride will be talking about shifting the culture of violence. So we still have a full month of events that is happening during Black History Month. We're not going to let a little bit of snow keep us down. We came through enslavement, Jim Crow, brutalization, dehumanization, all that. A little bit of snow ain't going to keep us down. We are a resilient people. 413-736-2781. Do me a favor, rep your city, rep your town. Let me know where you are chiming in from. Always love to know where you're chiming in from. Right on the other side of a little bit of Ferris Hill. We're going to come back. Today we're talking about how should Black folks vote. That's the conversation. We're in election season all over. Every organization that I associate with is talking about pushing Black folks to vote and get out the vote and voter education. And it's all hands on deck around this election this year. And so I'm throwing the question out there: how should Black folks vote? 413-736-2781. Rep your city, rep your town. If you're in the Twitter space, go on, let me know where you're chiming in from. Put your requests in. We'll take your telephone calls, all of that. Just don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
But the essence of growth has changed. The being in the road would be the end of the road if you refuse to change. Reach a little higher, reach a little higher, dig a little deeper, dig a little deeper, go a little further, go a little further. Come on, come on, come on. Reach a little higher, come on, yeah. Dig a little deeper, dig a little deeper, go a little further, go a little further. Come on, but don't stop. The essence of life is growth, but the essence of growth is change. The being in the road will be the end of the road if you refuse to change. Your life will never change until you get disgusted with where you are. Whatever you don't hate is what you tolerate. You must learn from the past, plan for the future, and live for today. For it is your daily routine that determines your success or failure in life. It's the choices that you have made up until this point that will determine the rest of your life. So break the cycle that doing enough is simply good enough. You only get out what you put in, so don't settle for the crumbs when you can have a whole loaf. So push yourself, push beyond your limitations. Come on. Reach a little higher, reach a little higher, dig a little deeper, dig a little deeper, go a little further. Don't stop, don't stop. Come on, don't reach a little higher, reach a little higher, dig a little deeper, dig a little deeper, go a little further, go a little further. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. So you gotta break the routine of trying to beat the system. Manipulators will always try to bypass the process for the quick progress. There are no shortcuts to success. There are no elevators to the top. You got to take it one step at a time. You got to break the routine of allowing others to get into your head to control who you are and where you're going. You see, when you're about the positive, you're going to always have haters. But don't let your haters push you down. Let your haters push you forward to the next level. So when people show you who they really are, don't perceive them to be something else that they're not. See, a zebra does not change his stripes. So you got to keep pushing yourself to the next level. Yeah, there you go. Come on. Go a little deeper. Come on. Yeah. Go a little further. Go a little further. Come on. Don't stop. Come on. Yeah. Reach a little higher. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Go a little further. Come on. Come on. Come on. You got to understand the greatness is the nature that you were born out of. You'll never discover your greatness without hard work and dedication. Greatness says more about who you are and what you expect for yourself. And greatness will always attract greatness. Show me your friends and I'll show you the future. You just a step away.
Step away.
Just a step away. You just a step away. Don't ever give up. Come on. You just a step away. You're almost there. Come on. You got to push yourself beyond your limitations. You see, there's no mountain too high, no valley too low. You can go where you want to go. It's all in the power of your imagination. If you can see the invisible, you can do the impossible. So stretch yourself. Take yourself to the next level.
You just
come on, come on.
Reach a little higher.
Dig a little deeper.
Go a little further.
Come on, come on, come on. Don't stop, come on. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. Come on, yeah. Come on. Come on. Blessings are coming your way. Go a little further. Don't stop. Don't stop until you get your dream. Don't stop. Get your dream. Until you get your dream. Come on. Don't stop until you get your dream. Don't stop. Get your dream. Come on. Yeah. Don't stop. Come on. Come on. Come on. Go further, go. Come on. You gotta go for the goal. You gotta go for the goal.
All right. Rep your city, rep your town.
Like what I see. A strong, beautiful black woman staring back at me. One who's seen a lot of pain and
Had her share of sorrows,
but who never gave up hope for a brighter tomorrow. I've been lied to, cheated on, stolen from, and hit.
ATL, I see you.
Stronger, and I refuse to quit. That's right. And though I've been tempted, I refuse to stoop to their level. Don't go down.
I was above that nonsense and made a liar of the devil.
The devil who said I wasn't good enough, cute enough, or worthy of love. I kicked his butt with divine power from above. Power that says I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me, and brought me out of darkness so that I could see that I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm a child of the King. Abundant love for me he came to bring. Oh yes, when I look in the mirror, I love what I see. She's looking good. That strong, beautiful black woman, that woman is me.
90.7 WTCC. Good morning to each and every one of you that are tuned in right here in the Pioneer Valley. Good morning to everyone who is tuned in our social media space. Good morning to everybody from everywhere. Thank you, those of you repping your city and repping your town. Let me know where you are coming in from. I see ATL on the gram. Let's see who else we got in here. Y'all rep the city, rep the town. Let me know where you're coming in from. I got New Jersey in the building. I got. Let me go through here. Let me see who is up in here. See who is up in here. All right, Jersey is in here. Bluntstown, Florida. Good morning, Brother Davis. Bluntstown, Union, New Jersey. Raleigh, North Carolina. Bristol, Tennessee. Hey, Auntie Marion, I see you. Good morning to my fraternal, my frat brothers, Al, all the Iotas up in the building. Good morning to you. St. Petersburg, Florida is in the building. Chicago, Illinois is in the building. Houston, Texas is in the building. Toronto, Canada is up in here. Johannesburg, South Africa is in the London, England. Good morning. Louisville, Kentucky, Kansas City. You know, I was hoping nobody from Kansas was up in here, but because y'all probably just up in here because of the Super Bowl and you just want to talk junk. I see you Kings playing. I see another Atlanta. I see ATL up in the house. 413-736-2781. 413-736-2. Los Angeles, California. California love is in the building. Where the field at? Where is the field? Is the field in the building? I know y'all got to be up in here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. Just making sure. We got the field represented. I was going to tell y'all ain't keeping it. Ralph, y'all ain't representing. Good morning. Greenville, South Carolina. Good morning to you. I see you, City Councilor LeVar Click Bruce. Good morning to you. I see you, Lydia Mathis. Good morning. Go a little further. Yes, you got to reach. Yes. Good morning to everybody from everywhere who chimed into the program. Again, let me give you the revamped dates for our February events. Because of the storm that is coming on tomorrow. They're predicting big snow. I'm a native New Englander. I've been here all my life, and I still hate the snow. All that singing y'all be talking about, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. I'll be like, no. I don't like none of it. Ain't never gonna get used to it. I think my back would be in better condition if I never had to shovel snow. Okay. But in any case, it's gonna snow. Anyway, it's gonna snow. And I guess ain't too much I can do about it. We are at the mercy of how God sends the weather. Okay. Do me a favor, put whatever the weather is in your town, put that in the comments. Let me know if it's sunshiny. Let me know the temperature. Let me know if it's anybody I got to be jealous of because of the weather in your neighborhood. Throw that in there. Let me know. But in any case, because of the snow that is coming tomorrow, we had to take our lecture that was scheduled for tomorrow on the 13th and push it back 2 weeks to the 27th, to the 20. Now we've got two things going on the 27th. One, we're having a conversation about reparations. The Greater Springfield NAACP, hosted by Dr. Almakar Shabazz. There have been conversations going on about reparations in cities and towns across Massachusetts, really across the United States, that if the federal government isn't going to do anything about it, some cities and towns have decided that they are going to take up the issue themselves. And so we are discussing how we make that an issue here in Springfield. And see, a lot of people don't understand the history of slavery in the U.S. They think about cotton fields in the South as the say all and the be all, not understanding that people were enslaved in the North. Malcolm X once said, y'all stop talking about the South, because as long as you're south of the Canadian border, you're south. They had slavery in Massachusetts for 179 years. Okay. So, you know, I get that places here were part of the Underground Railroad and all of that. We've got a rich history right here in our city. Churches that were stops on the Underground Railroad, St. John's, which is not named after John in the Bible. It's named after John Brown, the abolitionist, because of the work that they did in the abolitionist movement. But yet and still, slavery existed here for 179 years. Slavery existed, I underscored last week, in New York State for 221 years. So when we talk about reparations, we're not just talking about southern states, cities, and towns. We're talking about it right here in the North. So we're going to have that conversation as we have been organizing a group around a reparations movement here in the city. So that's going to take place on the 27th. And after that conversation, we will have Domingo Guyton, who will be speaking in our lecture series about the influence of hip hop music on the 27th. We had to push it back 2 weeks, but it's all good. So the 19th, we have Dr. Tamar Bryant. The 22nd, Candace Benbow. The 27th, Domingo Guyton. And the 29th, we have Reverend Mike McBride. However, this Thursday, we're having a conversation around Palestine. There have been over 30,000 persons that have been killed in Gaza. Over 30,000. 70% of them have been women, children, and babies. Okay? Women, children, and babies. Bibi Netanyahu came out with a video last week talking about they're not going to stop until they get total victory over Hamas. But no one knows what total victory is supposed to be. So now they have 1 million Palestinians cornered in Rafah, the last stop before the border in Egypt, have them trapped in that town, and now they are going on the offensive there. So basically, the genocide of a people is what Bibi Netanyahu has determined is what total victory is. So in any case, we're going to have a conversation around the conflict in Israel. We're going to have a conversation about what's happening in Gaza with Linda Sarsour, who is a Palestinian American political activist. She will be with us on this Thursday. She will be with us on this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. And after her lecture, Dr. Almakar Shabazz will facilitate a Q&A conversation with her. And so you want to be a part of that. You want to be there early. 6:30 we start on time. That's this Thursday, okay? So be there, and we'll send out all of the new information on the new schedule because of the change in tomorrow's event um, um, later today. I see you, Linda Green, telling us that it's overcast, but it's 50 degrees where you are. Okay, somebody else got 56 degrees, rain and clouds. Now, I definitely ain't jealous of you, Lydia, with 36 degrees and cloudy. Uh-huh. You as bad as us. 413-736-2781. Put your weather report in. Just make me feel bad or good based on your weather report, based on what we got coming here on tomorrow. 413-736-2781. 413-736-2781 is the number here. How are we going to vote in this upcoming election? Everybody wants to talk about the black vote. Everybody wants the black vote. Okay? Republicans aren't going after it hard, but they just want to get enough of it because they don't need a lot of it to win an election. Democrats need a lot of it. Democrats need 90 some odd percent of it. But the way they acting is like they don't even want it. Realistically, they that's exactly how they acting as far as I'm concerned. They acting like we gonna get it no matter what. So, it is what it is. I don't think that's the case this time around. And listen, for those of you who continue to talk about the situation in Gaza, and you use that excuse that Biden isn't the first U.S. president to support Israel, send money to Israel, provide weapons to Israel, as if that makes it okay, please just stop. That's a weak argument. Basically what you're saying is, you know what? All U.S. presidents support Israel, so we can turn a blind eye to Biden unequivocally supporting genocide. Because Trump is just so bad that, and help me understand how you rationalize that. Just help me understand how you rationalize Trump is so bad that a man who turns a blind eye to 20,000 babies being murdered is the good guy. Because that's what y'all saying. That's what you're saying. That the man who knows that Israel is killing babies and circumvents Congress to send weapons to the man who's killing babies. He's the good guy. And if that's the case, if the lesser of two evils in this election is someone who would send a nation weapons so they could continue to murder babies, then America is in a terrible condition. If in a presidential election, the lesser of two evils is the dude who sends weapons to murder babies, then America is jacked up. For real, for real. And I know all the Democrat shills are going to be talking junk. What do you want us to do? Not vote? What do you want us to do? Vote for Trump? And they get mad at me and people like me for just telling the truth. Don't get mad at me. I'm not the one sending weapons to murder babies. That's your man. That's your boy, Genocide Joe, who's doing that. Y'all just don't like us talking about it. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
You're on the air.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good.
This Reverend Swan?
It is. You're on the air. Okay. I guess he didn't want to talk. 413-736-2781. Yeah, don't get mad at me. Y'all want to keep shooting down the messenger. You can't say I'm lying. But just don't talk about it. Now's not the time. Now's not the time to talk about what we see right in front of our face. Now's not, as we see little dismembered babies. Now ain't the time to talk about it. Now's the time to ignore it and pretend it's not happening. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
You're on the air. Sir, turn down your radio. You're getting confused. Turn down your radio. You're on the air.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Yes, I just wanted your opinion on something.
I can hear you fine. If you turn down your radio, you're hearing a delay. Please turn that down and just listen through your phone.
I can't hear you that well. Okay. Yeah, my question was, I know they're trying to pass a bill for the funding with Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. And Biden stated the other day that the president of Israel is over the top. And what does that mean? And number two, how you feel about the cops being beat up by the immigrants and the cops not drawing their weapon? Thank you.
All right. I don't know. I didn't hear anything about saying the president of Israel is over the top. I'm not sure what that reference is. You know, the prime minister of Israel, that Biden has pledged his support to Netanyahu. As far as police officers not drawing their weapons to non-black people, that's not a surprise. We see that happen every day. Which is why, you know, when people say police need extra training, when we talk about the extrajudicial murder and the brutalization of black people, I always say that they don't need any additional training because police know how to restrain themselves and not indiscriminately murder white folks and other non-black people every day. It's only when it comes to us that all of a sudden they need some training so they don't pull their gun out and shoot us first. So that's not surprising at all. I mean, you know, look at January 6th. Just imagine in your mind if all of those people bum rushing the U.S. Capitol, the United States Capitol, imagine if they were all black people. You would have had cops out there in riot gear, and it would have been a bloodbath. You would have had snipers picking up if you had black folks climbing the walls, trying to break into the camp, busting out windows, breaking into the camp. Man, snipers would have been picking them off left and right. So we understand fully that they know how to restrain themselves whenever it comes to non-black people. You know, a black man with a wallet will get murdered because we thought it was a weapon. But a white man who just murdered 9 people who you know has a weapon can get taken into custody without incident. We understand exactly how that goes. 413-736-2781. So I'm just, I'm still trying to understand from our Democrat brothers and sisters who come after me and others and tell us now's not the time to talk about, Biden supporting genocide. It's to talk about that after the election. How do you ignore that? How do you continue to ignore that? And then they want to accuse us of, oh, you're a plant by the Republicans. You're an undercover Trump supporter. Y'all know good and well, as hard as I went after Trump, I ain't no doggone Trump supporter. So y'all need to cut that foolishness out, and criticizing Biden and his administration and his support of genocide is not support of Trump. Let's get it straight. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Are you talking to me?
You called, didn't you?
Well, I wanted to make sure you could talk to me and not someone else. Look, I'm about what's happening in Gaza. I understand that the U.S. media really never lets us understand or sees or reports on a consistent basis what's been happening there in the last 40 years. But we really don't have a choice. Donald Trump has said that he's going to suspend the Constitution. He said he's going to call martial law. He's going to fix the judges. He's going to appoint more judges to the federal bench. So it's just like...
And you believe he's going to do all of that just because he said it?
What?
And you believe he's going to do all of that just because he said it?
You're coming, I can't really hear you. Your voice is garbled. Repeat that again.
That may be your connection. I said, you believe that just because he said it, just because he said he's going to do that, you believe he can just get into the White House and just wave his wand and do all of that, that there are no checks and balances at all that will prevent him from doing everything he said he was going to do.
Well, and that's the point. Donald Trump has tried to do everything, and he's supported by the Proud Boys and all these other racist organizations.
But Donald Trump also tried to overturn the election. He tried to keep Biden from being inaugurated. He tried to do all of that, and he failed at doing that. So I understand what Donald Trump says he's going to do. But what he says he's going to do and what he can actually do are two different things altogether. But I understand your point. But here's my question to you is, when you say we don't have a choice, what do we do with what's happening in the Biden administration? Do we just ignore that? Do we just pretend it's not happening? Do we just, say, well, other presidents did it? Oh, if Trump was in office, he'd do the same thing. Do we just excuse away genocide? That's what I have trouble with. I got trouble with black people. I have trouble with any people who see 20,000 murdered babies and say, we got to have to ignore that because Trump is worse.
Well, let me ask you this question. Do you think that Donald Trump is going to listen to our concerns about what's happening in Gaza? He's the one that moved the U.S. embassy to where it is today, right? So the point is, Biden at least will listen to us. We have Kamala Harris.
He ain't listening to us now. He's not listening now. Do you know, I personally have been in at least 4 high-profile conversations with senior members of his cabinet, with black clergy across this nation to talk about the situation in Gaza, and the administration is not listening.
But what is Trump going to do for black people?
No. See. Here's the problem. Here's the problem I have. Here's the problem I have. You're not addressing the Biden administration. You're whatabouting with Trump. So every time, and that's the problem we have. Whenever we try to hold the Biden administration accountable, most Democrat supporters, wait, we can sing at the same time, we can't talk at the same time. Most of the Democrat supporters of Biden, instead of addressing what's happening with his administration, Y'all, what about with Trump? So just like this conversation, what's Trump gonna do? Trump. Is that the answer to everything I ask about what's currently happening with the current administration? Is to juxtapose that against what Trump would do, and because Trump might do something similar or worse, that makes it okay what Biden's doing? Y'all are justifying genocide on the basis of what Trump might do. And I got a problem with that.
Trump has already demonstrated what he's going to do, and he's told you what he's going to do. And now the training...
Okay, but you're still ignoring what Biden is doing.
He's got actual white nationalists in his cabinet.
Listen, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I don't disagree with you on that, man. Just check the record. I probably went harder than any black preacher in America on the Trump administration. I'm not a Trump supporter. I know he's a racist. I know he's the son of a Klansman. I know all of that. That doesn't, but that does not excuse what Biden is doing. That's what you won't address. You're not addressing the Biden issue. You keep defaulting to Trump as if because Trump is so bad, that makes whatever Biden does justifiable.
So are you a Trump voter? Are you a Trump supporter?
What did you just not hear me say?
I'm sorry?
What did you just hear me say?
Well, here again, connection might be a little bad, but look, there is not a perfect situation here. I understand that Biden is not perfect, but at least we can be at the table with Biden. Trump is already done. Look, we've got starving black kids right now. Our schools are underfunded right now. Affirmative action has been gutted. Voting rights has been gutted. And while I'm concerned about what's happening in Israel, I'm concerned about what's happening right next door.
And so am I. And so am I. And see, that's what you all fail to understand, that we can walk and chew gum at the same time. I can be concerned about all of that and still be concerned about the response of this administration to police brutality, to our voting rights, to what's happening in Gaza. I can be concerned about them sending $100 billion to Ukraine, but not even want to talk about reparations with black people. I can be concerned about all that at the same time. But it just seems like some way, somehow, when we get to criticizing the Biden administration, that y'all automatically default to, I must be a Trump supporter. That is the most ridiculous, insulting thing I ever heard in my life. You know, if you criticize genocide, then you must be down with Trump. Stop it. Cut it out. 413-736-2781. Let me get the Blackmore up in here. You're in the space. Blackmore, you got the microphone.
Thank you so much, Bishop Talbot. Thank you so much for giving me the space. I want just to clarify something for all the people who are talking about Biden and talking about Palestine and Israel. Whatever is happening right now in Palestine happened in Africa at the same time. It's not about Palestine or Muslim or whatever. It's about power and resources and where people can implement it. We know that Israel did it in Guatemala years ago. They are Christian. We know it's doing it in Congo before 1996. And right now, the war in Congo is fueled by Israel because of the commodity. We need to be clear about that. My country, Senegal, Israel sold a weapon to our president who want to stay on the third term. Right now, we are protesting. There, we don't fight over religion or whatever. I'm Christian, Roman Catholic, and I live in Senegal. I was born there. It's 90% of Muslim. People need to open their eyes and see what is happening in black lands right now, and how Israel is fueling war, including what's happening in South Sudan. I was there, I work there. It's something that you need to be aware of. And what Biden is doing, nobody's talking about that, okay? We know that it's not only about Palestine, it's everywhere that is happening right now for power and for resources. Specifically, the Europeans are doing the same. Yes, I was a Democrat, but I'm thinking about, as a midwife, a mother, and someone who delivered more than 2,000 babies and work in war zones for 10 years, all between Biden and saying that, oh, Trump did this and that, Trump did this and that. People are tired about seeing the same country bombing over and over people for no reason. Thank you, Bishop. I hope that we give a little bit of clarity and don't tell us that, there are religious things. I say that again, who I am. My dad was in World War II. He was 17 years old, drafted by the French. My uncle the same. We fought for the same people who today are coming to our country and killing us.
Yeah.
The same people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution to the conversation. Listen. Here's the reality. You have to stop trying to gaslight us and to gaslight the people that if we are critical of Democrats in any way, that makes us a Trump supporter. That as Black people, we are not deep enough to criticize the party that we give 95% of our votes to. If anybody ought to be able to criticize Democrats, it ought to be the people who give them 95% of their votes. But basically, y'all are telling us because of Trump, we shouldn't say anything critical about Biden administration at all, no matter what they do. And I reject that notion. I reject that it makes me a Trump supporter. I reject that I'm telling people not to vote. I'm telling people to vote for Trump. I ain't telling nobody to vote for no Trump. But y'all, if y'all can't vote for Biden and hold him accountable at the same time, there's a problem. You can get a man your vote, but you won't hold him accountable once he gets it. That's crazy to me. That's insane. It's insane that you think that you give him 95% of your votes, and then when he gets in office and doesn't fulfill the promises he made to Black people to always have our back. And when his foreign policy allows the brutalization and murder of disenfranchised people across the globe, that you can't say anything critical? That's insane. That and to try to gaslight it that if you do criticize, that you're an undercover Trump supporter. Y'all sound crazy. 413-736-2781 is the number if you want to chime in on the conversation. Let me get Sister Amia in here. Sister Amia, you're in the space.
Hey, Bishop, also, yeah, to your title, how should Black folks vote? I'm a vote, well, I used to be a vote blue no matter who, but I'm holding my breath and voting for Trump. And it's not to say that I'm a Trumper. Like you said, we know his base is Confederate racist. We understand where he comes from. But I will say that the most staunch Democrats are these legacy organizations, these fraternities, these sororities, these Divine Nines, these Blue Vein Society people. They are the most staunch Democrats. And I know that's kind of where you kind of come from. But you are the only person that's actually speaking out against the Biden administration, which are also full of Zionists, Dixiecrats, corporate sellouts and things like that. But I don't think people remember that Biden comes from wild beast Irish ancestors that turned Confederate, then turned Dixiecrat. And he has been in government for over 50 years. So he has it on lock. He's very conniving. I don't understand, because I'm in South Carolina, I don't understand where these diehard vote blue no matter who, why they can't see the writing on the wall. But Jim Crow Joe turned Genocide Joe. I do have a little sliver of hope though, because we are kind of waking up a little bit. We did vote previously in the Democratic primary. It was down. It went from 16% from 2020 to 4%. So some of us are waking up, but it is the younger generation that's waking up. These 40 and up, I don't know, maybe you can talk to them, but since you come from that legacy organization, Divine Nine people, but they are not listening to the low people that's on the ground like me. You know, I've been on here a lot of time talking about the fact that the Black Caucus, the Black Legislative Assembly, you know, Commerce, Black Commerce. A policy over party. They don't want to champion reparations for Black Americans, and they don't want to talk about this illegal immigration invasion. But to answer your question, how should Black folks vote? How should Black Americans vote come November? Hell, it's Trump. It's anybody but Biden. Period. If you don't, I understand if you don't want to hold your nose and vote for Trump, vote for West. At least it's not a vote for Biden, because they need to sit out for these next 4 years and figure out what the fuck they're going to do. Because at this, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cuss on your radio station, but what are they going to do? Because at this point in time, you cannot be beholden to these immigrants and do everything under the sun that the base is against. The base is against everything, a lot of these policies, and that's one thing they don't want to get out. But all in all, great space, and take care.
All right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got the mayor of New York giving $53 million to migrants. You got the governor of New York securing $183 million for the heirs of the Holocaust. And ain't nobody got no reparations for Black folks. This is what Democrats are saying to you Black people. Everybody else deserves something. You know, Ukraine, you get $100 billion. Israel, you get $16 billion. You get billions of dollars. Heirs of the Holocaust, y'all get millions of dollars. And migrants, y'all get millions of dollars. Black folk, we're going to wear kente cloth on Juneteenth. But y'all make sure you go out and vote for us in the 95th percentile. And then they use Trump to scare y'all. Man. Brother Terrain, you're in the space. Brother Walker, you're in the space.
Good morning, Bishop. Always a good conversation when you host these conversations. Thank you for bringing me up to speed.
Yes, sir.
I think what's happening now is two things. Well, first of all, let me speak to the question of your space. How should Black folks vote? I personally think Black people should vote just like every other ethnic group does, in their best interest. Now, personally, I feel like two things are happening. A lot of the people who are on the grassroots, who are dealing with the ramifications of a lot of this policy and this lack of policy that comes from the Democratic Party, they, for the longest time, have been shut out by people who have been either connected to the Democratic Party apparatus, or they're paid and unpaid shills for the Democratic Party. And I'm talking about a lot of Black pundits, a lot of Black talking heads, and a lot of Black political gatekeepers. What you're seeing now is people who were able to basically keep a lock and keep a cap on the Black opinion don't have that power anymore. And they're flailing and they're punching air because they can't really shut people up like they used to. So now you're seeing what's happening now is like, as you spoke to earlier, this sort of condescension, this arrogance, and this idea that if you even question the Democratic Party and if you don't vote for Joe, then you're automatically some sort of race traitor and you don't need to be listened to. I mean, I know you hear these spaces and I know you see the way people talk about people who have questions, legitimate questions about Biden, his capability and his history with black voters and black people with the crime bill and everything else. So I'm saying all that to say this. I think black people's backs are against the wall. And I think things have finally reached a point of critical mass where people are tired of just being spoon-fed like pop locking and fish dinners in old rappers from the 1990s. People want tangible results. We want respect. We want dignity. But here's the thing. I think because the Democratic Party has such a lock on the black vote, it's going to take a long time to really start moving the needle to where they even feel like they have to have any sort of concern about how we vote one way or the other, because it's going to go in their favor for the most part. But I think younger people, I think people like yourself, I think people who are just tired of the status quo and tired of being disrespected and ignored are going to have to keep pushing the line forward and making sure that they feel some sort of political ramifications for ignoring black concerns at the expense of everybody else. I think West is a good idea. I think voting independent is a good idea. I think maybe forming a third party is a good idea, or at least putting some sort of lobbyist group together so we can have some sort of voice to be heard like everybody else. So how should we vote? We should vote in our best interest. And that doesn't necessarily coincide with what the Democratic Party wants or the Republican Party. Now land.
There you go. Appreciate you. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Good morning, caller.
Hello.
You're on the air. I can hear you.
Okay, I'm just calling. What I'm calling about is that we're sitting up here. We got two evils against evil. Democrats and Republicans. We have nowhere to vote. My son told me the other day, he said, Daddy, I don't know who to vote for. He said, because Biden is killing black people and they're giving all the white people money. He said, you watch, they're going to have a reparation for Ukraine pretty soon and still ain't going to give black people nothing. He said, really, we don't know where to go, where to vote for. He said, that's the problem we have. Who are we going to vote for?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing for me. You got so much money for everybody else. Ask them to vote for you. Right? We don't have no money for black people. We don't even want to talk about reparations. But then the Democrats can literally come out. They literally have an office in New York. Taxpayer-funded office. Full-time staff people whose full-time job is to go after reparations and resources for the heirs of the survivors of the Holocaust. A whole office that does that. But we don't want to talk about reparations, even though in New York State, we held black people as slaves for 221 years. So we got money for everybody else. We got billions for Israel. We got billions for the Ukraine. We got billions to throw into Afghanistan and to resettle their refugees, and we got billions for migrants that come to the border. But black folk, we want y'all to go out and vote for us. And we ain't got nothing for y'all. Do you know how insulting that is? Do you know? And then, but Trump. Do you know how insulting that is? You know, I say, well, go ask them migrants who aren't citizens to vote for you, that you're giving billions of dollars. Ask them Ukrainians that can't vote to vote for you, but you're giving them billions of dollars. Ask all these other folk that you got all this loot for. Ask them to vote for you. Because you obviously ain't got nothing for black people, but you want our vote. And to those who say we're wrong for criticizing, here's the problem with that. People shouldn't want our vote if they're not willing to hear our voice. Let me say that one more again. People shouldn't want our vote if they're not willing to hear our voice. So you all trying to silence us on behalf of the Democrats? Wrong answer. If you can't hear my voice, if I can't give my opinion, If I can't critique you, if I cannot be critical, if I cannot express my concerns, then don't ask for my vote when you don't want to hear my voice. I got to go. If you're looking for a place to worship, check us out at Spring of Hope Church of God in Christ, 35 Alden Street, Springfield, Massachusetts, the Brick Church, right there at Six Corners. There'll be prayer, praise, and preaching. We're building better tomorrows by changing lives today. Remember, tomorrow's event has been postponed for 2 weeks due to the snowstorm. It will happen on the 27th. We'll bring Domingo Guyton here. Remember, the 19th, Dr. Thamar Bryant. The 22nd, Candace Benbow. The 27th, Domingo Guyton. The 29th, Mike McBride. But this Thursday, Linda Sarsour will be with us at the Spring of Hope Church, 35 Alden Street, Springfield, Massachusetts. I got to get out your way. James Lewis is up next with Mid-Morning Jazz and Great Black Music. Keep it locked right here at 90.7 WTCC HD1. Until the next time I talk to you and you talk to me, always remember, God loves you, and so do I. Peace and blessings.